all intentional. This is what is incredible. I have people ask me, why would the Democrats do this? And I think looking at the bills they've offered and tried to get through and ram through the House and have, if it wasn't for the Senate, we may have already had some of these terrible bills and signed into law by now. But this guy, Joe Biden, and the Democratic Party are intentionally opening our borders up, intentionally defunding our police, intentionally wanting to take away our Second Amendment rights, intentionally disrupting our supply chains and stopping the production and exploration for oil and gas, and have given us this terrible situation that we have in our country today, and it's intentional. It's like finding out that your lifelong family physician is really trying to hurt you, trying to kill you. And but what they are doing to the United States is really a road to destruction for the American people, for the American taxpayer, to insolvency, to lose our sovereignty, you name it. This is a terrible situation, all self-inflicted by the Biden administration.
It is. When you see Biden, when he speaks abroad, he'll talk about these high ideals about, territorial integrity. He talks about that a lot, especially with the war we're seeing in Ukraine. But it's funny. It seems like he doesn't believe that the U.S. is entitled to the same graciousness of having our own border being secure and our own territorial sovereignty being ensured. And so that is very sad, as we see, with the American people being put last behind everybody else, because it's very profitable for many of the Democrats in D.C. To do so. You hear with this migrant caravan, you're exactly right. Some reports say it could swell to as high as 15,000 people coming. Do we know what state or where along the border they're aiming toward? I know some of the main agitators were saying they purposely were timing their caravan to coincide with the Summit of the Americas taking place. But are they coming to Texas, or do we kind of know where? And if so, if any of these states can start preparations for that?
I can't answer that question, Kara. I do know that they love to go to the Arizona border, and they certainly love to go to Del Rio or to the Rio Grande Valley. But I can't tell you with any certainty. And I will say this, Joe Biden has become the drug cartel's best friend. He has freed these cartels and the crooks and the criminals, the syndicates that run them, to murder, rape, human traffic, drug trafficking, 107,000 overdose deaths of American citizens, the main cause of death between the ages of 18 and 45 now for Americans. They have set up this economy to enrich these cartels to the tune of billions and billions of dollars, and the human misery that goes along with it, with the deaths. We know there's already close to 700 people that have died coming up here. Those are just the bodies we've found. Think of the ones that have been killed along the way that we never know about. And the incentivization, they have got to stop incentivizing and promising these people free educations, free health care, and this wonderful new life to come up here and really bankrupt the American people. We cannot afford to keep educating hundreds and hundreds of thousands, millions of illegal alien children. I've served on a school board. We cannot afford this, and it's getting worse and worse. If they do away with Title 42, then I think instead of looking at 230-something thousand coming across a month, you're looking at 500,000 a month, and we're looking at 6-7 million having come across in the expanse of a year. We cannot sustain this. And Biden and Secretary Mayorkas, who needs to be impeached, they know this full well, and they are simply ignoring that. This is part of their strategy. This is their wokeness, and the American people, I think, have had a belly full of it. And in November, I think you're going to see a real red tidal wave at the polls.
And that is, of course, what we're praying for. And we also know one of the big supporters of this current caravan, I believe, is the United Nations Human Rights Campaign. A lot of these groups, we give them a lot of money. And of course, they use our own U.S. dollars to go and, like I said earlier, to destroy our sovereignty, to kind of stab us in the back. So you see the UN does this quite often, as they're doing right now with this caravan, and in many other ways as well. Is there anything that the U.S. can do to stop funding perhaps some of these UN agencies or some of these UN campaigns? Or can we perhaps stop sending so much aid to these other nations, like what President Trump used to do with Mexico and some of these other nations, saying, if you're not going to cooperate and help us on this front, then say goodbye to some of this money? I know obviously Team Biden doesn't want to do that right now, but is that something that we should keep the pressure up for?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Kara. Under President Trump, it was easy. He had the best interests of the American people at heart. This Joe Biden and the woke Democrats, again, it's like finding out your family doctor's trying to really kill you. And it's a situation that boggles the mind. But yes, they need to be cut off. The funds should not be sent down there. We need to spend this money on securing our border, on hiring more police officers, on maintaining the quality of life and getting these prices down, and start letting our oil explorers, U.S. domestic explorers, and we can get some of these prices down. But we have to end catch and release. We've got to keep Title 42. We need to re-implement Remain in Mexico, the MPP program. We got to finish this border wall. That's the most commonsensical thing we could do. And we need to hold other nations accountable. That's what has to happen, and that's what President Trump did, and that's what President Biden is not. They're laughing at him. This guy's a joke. They know that he's coming, and this is what he wants, open borders, and this is what we'll probably get. So I don't see him changing his position on this until we have an enormous red tidal wave at the midterm elections.
And of course, the Border Patrol, they are kind of some of the unsung heroes right now, trying to keep some of the peace at the border and some of the security that we do have. And of course, they get no backing from the current administration in the White House, but they do the best they can. And we also saw with this the school massacre in Uvalde, Texas, Border Patrol also came in clutch there as well and really saved the day. But now we're hearing that as many as 4,000 Border Patrol agents of the 21,000 could be about to lose their job because of the vax mandate that the Biden administration has been enforcing. They've been battling the courts on this for several months now to enforce all federal employees, Border Patrol and otherwise, to take the vaccine. Like I said, about 4,000 so far have chosen not to. I mean, I know this is executive, we're talking about the executive branch here, but is there anything Congress can do to provide some kind of relief for Border Patrol agents, or is it out of your guys' hands at this point?
Well, I think it's out of our hands. This is exactly what we'd like to do. They fire people that don't get vaccinated. And sadly, and I'm a healthcare provider, I was fully vaccinated. I've had COVID. I can't tell you how many people I know that were fully vaccinated, still got COVID. Most of the hospitalizations that we have today, from everything that I can find out, these are vaccinated individuals. So getting rid of and firing 4,000 Border Patrol agents because they're not getting vaccinated is insane. It is absolutely insane. If a vaccination makes you feel good, by all means, go ahead and get it. But I can tell you the results show, the proof and evidence shows that it's not going to keep you from getting COVID-19. These poor Border Patrol agents, ICE agents, some people that are down there on the border, they are demoralized. They've been kicked to the curb by this administration, by their boss, Mayorkas. It's terrible. We've heard audio where he has been talking to some of these Border Patrol agents, and he himself says this is unsustainable, what we're seeing down here. And yet then he comes to the Congress and testifies, and he told me personally that he had operational control of our southern border. Nothing could be further from the truth. It is a complete chaos, and it's going to be really to the ruination of the greatest country in the history of our world.